Jule and hello to all of you. So today I'm going to discuss about another great scholar of Nalanda whose name was not very known, although the scholar was famous, equally famous like Acharya Nagarjuna or Asang, but his name was not very much known among this area, like in actual Nalanda. So today I'm going to talk about Acharya Chandrakirti. So many of you have heard the name of Nagarjuna, Asang, Vasubandhu, Shantideva, but not Chandrakirti. So Chandrakirti was born in the southern India in the family of Brahman, and when he was born, an astrologer predicted that the boy will become a Buddhist monk. So then what happened? He became a monk under the guidance of Acharya Chandranath, and thereafter he was trained in the entire Buddhist Tripitak, both Sutra, Shastra, and then Tantra. And he even, uh, you know, got training in the non-Buddhist viewpoint. So because of which many of his companion, doubted him, as a Buddhist scholar, because he was also very well versed in the non-Buddhist viewpoint, the philosophical viewpoint that exists beyond Buddhist tradition, like Nyaya Visheshik Sankhya Yoga. There are total 9 philosophical schools in India, like Nyaya Visheshik Sankhya Yoga, then Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa, Uttar Mimamsa, then we have Charvak, Bodh, and Jain. So then in within Buddhism also we have 4 prominent school that exists during the later period of time when Nalanda University was there. So we have Sarvastivada Vibhashik, then Sutantrik, then Madhyamik, and Yogacar. So these were 4 later philosophical schools that survived a long period of time in India after the time of Ashok. So during the time of Ashok, we have 18 Buddhist schools. So these 4 schools survived and became the central philosophical schools of this universities, Nalanda universities, and its contemporaries like Vikramshil, then Odanpuri, and there is Telhara also. So whenever we discuss Nalanda, we always say that Buddhist philosophy were taught there. Apart from that, there is many secular subject like Vedic, astronomy, science, metallurgy. So most of the time, we fail to focus on the central schools of Buddhism, like what kind of scholars belong to the Madhyamik tradition, what kind of scholars belong to the Yogacar Buddhist tradition, what was the theory of Madhyamik, Yogacar, Vibhashik, Sutantrik. So I have observed that most of the students here are not aware of Nalanda Master, unfortunately. So I think it is not their fault because it is not taught in their school. So it was not a part of curriculum in their school. So I understand this because I'm here now for almost 5 years. So I was observing my surrounding. Initially, I was also, I failed to understand why people of Nalanda are not aware of Nalanda tradition. Is it that they are taking from the religious point of view, like? Is it because they see Buddhism as something outside of Indian religious tradition, or is it that the Hindu religion not allow their student to get excel in the Buddhist philosophy? But then I observe the underlying cause. The root cause is that the student are actually not aware of the Buddhist tradition, and especially the tradition of Nalanda. So then I understand that it is not their fault. It was not taught in their school education. So then how we can expect them to know everything related to Nalanda? So historically they know that why Nalanda was famous for. So it was a big a residential center for monks, and so many students, thousands of students take it there. They are very much aware of Chinese master Xuanzang and his travelogue Xiyuji, which give records of some 15,000 students and I think 1,000 or 2,000 teacher. But when I asked them about all this Nalanda scholar like Acharya Nagarjuna, Shantideva, then Chandrakirti, Aridev, Ashu Ghosh, they are not very much aware. They are not at all, aware, not altogether aware of all these things. Forget about their work and their contribution. So that is why today I thought to talk about Acharya Chandra Kirti, who was equally a famous scholar in the Nalanda University, ancient Nalanda University. So Chandra Kirti was brought up in the southern India. Later on, he became a monk and got trained in the Buddhist Tripitak, Buddhist Sutra, Tantra, and then he also get trained in the other Indian philosophical teachings. So that is why his companion, fellow monks, doubted him as a Buddhist scholar. And apart from that, Chandra Kirti was very different, or we can say eccentric, because he spent his time, most of his time in eating, sleeping, and sleeping like that. So that is why, just like in the case of Acharya Shantideva also, Shantideva spent most of his time in sleeping, eating, and sleeping. So he got a nickname called Busuku. But when the time came, he gave this very beautiful text, which is called as the guide to Bodhisattva way of life, Bodhicharya Avatar, which became very famous. So, in the case of Chandrakirti also, his fellow companion do not like him because he spent his time in eating and sleeping only. So they thought to expel him from the Nalanda University. So, but because of his teacher Chandranath, who was very famous, so they couldn't expel him. So then they thought of another plan to to assign him some task. So at that time, maybe Nalanda monastery was involved with agriculture as well as cattle rearing. Also, they look after the cattle so that they can supply with the milk. So usually, this university was under the royal patronages of several kings like Gupta, Harshvardhan, and Pala, and many villagers were assigned to supply things for the smooth maintenance and regulation of this university. So then his fellow monk assigned him the task to look after the cattle and buffalo. So through this cattle and buffalo, the monastery was supplied with huge amount of milk. So Chandrakirti was, as I said, he was very casual in nature. So he released all the cow and buffalo in the jungle, but still somehow he's managed to supply the monastery with milk. So all the monks were a bit like wondered how Chandrakirti is managing to supply milk when all the cows and buffaloes were released in the jungle, roaming around in the jungle. So they have assigned another monk to check on this thing, Suryakirti. Then Suryakirti saw a very mysterious thing, that Chandrakirti released all the cow in the forest. Then he drew a picture of a cow, and then through that picture he derived the milk and supplied to the monastery. So this was bit it was a bit mystical thing that Suryakirti noted, observed, and then informed his fellow companion about Chandrakirti. Then all of them were very much surprised, and many of his friends who do not like him, they started developing faith in Chandrakirti's knowledge. So then at one point of time again, there was a story related to Chandrakirti that Turkish soldier, Islamic soldier, was about to raid Nalanda. So there was a great fear, apprehension of the soldier might attack them. So then what happened that his fellow companion sought to seek help from different scholars from both Buddhist tradition and the other tradition. So then suddenly they received some message through a cow flying from the sky. Then the cow told them to seek help from Chandrakirti. So then Chandrakirti, when his friend went to Chandrakirti to seek help, Chandrakirti advised them to draw a picture of a lion on the stone. So they drew the picture of a lion, and then what happened, when the raid was approaching near, the Truksha soldier was approaching near, what happened? Chandrakirti went there and hit the picture of the lion with a stick, and the lion roared 3 times. So by hearing this supernatural voice, what happened? The soldier was returned back. So this threat was somehow averted. So then the faith actually of his fellow companion grew in Chandrakirti. Then there was another person from the non-Buddhist tradition, Kumar, who doubted the Chandrakirti's abilities, so he thought to test Chandrakirti's clairvoyance. So he went there and asked Chandrakirti to tell him where the Lord Indra is right now residing. So then he said that Lord Indra is residing in Trimsika heaven, and one of his manifestation is giving teachings to Avalokiteshwar. So then the Kumar still not believe him and asked Chandrakirti to show him. So then Chandrakirti show him, isn't it, the Indra. Then Indra actually appeared, and Kumar initially failed to see the Indra, but later on he saw it. Then on another occasion, another stranger came to Chandrakirti to test him. So at the time, Chandrakirti was aware that this person was not a normal person. So then he inquired, who are you and why you have come here? Then Chandragomi, it was Chandragomi, another great scholar who came to debate with Chandrakirti. So Chandragomi replied that I am from South India and I know the Panini's grammar and the Manjushri and all those things, the text. So then Chandrakirti thought that it is Chandragomi, and he was not an ordinary figure. So then Chandrakirti said to him that for a scholar like you, I should extend an invitation and invite to Nalanda with a proper welcome procession. So then Chandrakirti was lay at the time, he was not become a monk. So then what happened, at the time monks were not allowed to receive a lay person, so they place a statue of Manjushri before the chariot of Chandragomi. So in this way they received Chandragomi with the formal procession to Nalanda. And then Chandrakirti was going ahead and like that. So then what happened, Chandragomi pray to Manjushri, and Manjushri head just turned towards Chandragomi. So Chandrakirti was very much shocked to see this thing. So he lost the control of his chariot and it went ahead of Chandrakirti's chariot. Then Chandrakirti thought that how Chandragomi is so egoistic, how he can take his chariot ahead of Chandrakirti. So that is why then what happened, both thought to take part in the debate. So in this way, what happened, Chandragomi, who was also a very famous scholar, so both of them get into the debate, and at one point of time what happened, Chandragomi failed to answer it and told Chandrakirti that I will reply to this question next day or tomorrow. So then Chandrakirti was amazed to hear this kind of reply. So then he thought that maybe someone is helping Chandragomi. So then during the night hour, what happened, Chandrakirti went to check Chandragomi, what is going on actually. So at that time he saw that Avalokiteshwar was giving teachings to Chandragomi. So then he also thought to receive teaching from Avalokiteshvara. So he intruded into the Chandragomi's room. But then at the time what happened, Avalokiteshvar completely disappeared. But during the night, in his dream, Avalokiteshvar appeared and told Chandrakirti that you have the blessing of Manjushri, so there is no need of my blessing. Then Avalokiteshvar disappeared, but in the morning again he requested and prayed for Avalokiteshvar to appear, and Avalokiteshvar appeared, and Chandrakirti requested him to sit on his head so that I can show him to the people. People will come to seek your blessing. So Chandrakirti put the Avalokiteshvar on his head and roam around the street. He thought that people will get the blessing of Avalokiteshvara, but at the time people were very much because of their karmic accumulations, they failed to see the Avalokiteshvara. So people thought that Chandrakirti has gone mad. But Chandrakirti, out of devotion, because since he was able to see Avalokiteshvara, he thought that people also seek the blessing of Avalokiteshvara. So he benefit of people. But unfortunately, people couldn't see him. Only one lady who used to sold alcohol. So that woman saw the lower part of Avalokiteshvara, the leg of Avalokiteshvara. So that may be because although she was selling alcohol, but somewhere somehow she has done a good deed, because of which she saw the blessing of the lower part of Avalokiteshvara. So she has attained the siddhi in the later part of his life. So yeah, like that, this kind of thing is associated with Acharya Chandrakirti, another great scholar. So the contribution of Chandrakirti in the literary field of Buddhism is his textbook called Prasanna Pad and Madhyamika Avatar. So Madhyamika Avatar is a commentary written to the text of Acharya Nagarjuna's Mool Madhyamik Karika. So these days we have Dzongtsar Khyentse Rinpoche, who belong to the Sakya tradition. So Dzongtsar Khyentse Rinpoche also wrote a beautiful commentary on this Madhyamika Avatar of Chandrakirti. So those who want to know the Madhyamika Avatar, what is written by Acharya Chandrakirti in the Madhyamika Avatar, can go through the commentary of Dzongtsar Khyentse Rinpoche. It is available in English. So yeah, it is a bit philosophical, so maybe it is little bit difficult for the students of different religious background. So usually in the Madhyamika tradition, the main philosophy rely on the concept of Shunyata, but within the concept of Shunyata, within the Madhyamika, there is two different school. One is called as Prasangik Madhyamik, and another one is called as Swatantrik Madhyamik. So Acharya Chandrakirti belonged to this Prasangik Madhyamik, and Swatantrik was Bhava Vivek. So this Chandrakirti, it is, whether we call Prasangik or Swatantrik, these are the two way to derive argument, because we need to derive argument to get into the debate system. So in the Chandrakirti school, Prasangik, they do not have their own statement. They have only the statement of their opponent, but they cut it so minutely that they reduce it to ultimately they reduce it to zero. So that is why it is called as reduction, the method of reductioning element into shunyata, reductio ad absurdum. In the Swatantrik, what happened, they use the technique of syllogism, like we say, all human beings are mortal, which means all human beings, I'm also a human being, so I'm also mortal means that we are not permanent here. Sometime or somewhere we have to die, we have to pass this we all passed away, so we are all mortal. So like that, they try to prove the third statement by using syllogism. So that is the Swatantrik method, and Prasangika method is to reduce everything to nihilism, not nihilism but shunyata. So these are the two method, very philosophical thing, deep philosophical thing, to finally to realize the the thing that all element, whether it is external element or internal element, all these things are devoid of existence. Okay, all these things are devoid of any existence, any permanent existence. So that is their main theory, which we call shunyata. So now in order to understand this thing, they have developed two systems. One is called as Prasangik, another one is called as Madhyamik. So Chandrakirti belonged to the Prasangik Madhyamika. So I think that much is enough. So if we delve deeper into the content of Madhyamika Avatar, there are a lot of things to discuss, but I don't think the student of Nalanda here will understand this profound philosophy. So at the initial period, I think it is important to grasp the life and contributions of these scholars. This much is enough, but as you but as you grow, then maybe you can further delve deeper into the concept of all this, the system of Madhyamik and Yogacar. So I hope maybe in the future, if some seminar or conferences like held on the actual Nalanda tradition, then maybe we get to know more about this thing. So this is also a part of Indian culture, Indian tradition, the debate system. It is not something which is Tibetan. Tibetans and the Himalayan regions have only preserved it. Maybe it is little bit influenced by Tibetan culture, the indigenous culture of Tibetan, Bonpo, and there are maybe it is little bit Tibetanized, but the main thing is it is Indian tradition only, which is preserved by the Tibetan in the Tibetan monastic institution today. So whatever you see in the Tibetan monastic institution is all derived from the Indian tradition. So Nalanda tradition is Indian legacy. So whenever we discuss Nalanda, we shouldn't get into the debate of this whether it is India or Tibetan and all those things. Everyone, it is an Indian legacy. So Nalanda has surpassed these regional and religious boundaries. So today it has become a global thing, global thing. Its impact has extended beyond borders, beyond India, beyond Tibet. It has become a global thing. So we should think Nalanda from this perspective. So this is what I want to say. Thank you so much and have a good day.